Good morning, everyone, or good evening, or good afternoon, or good whatever it is, wherever you are. Benji-Sales here. It is the morning where I live right now. I'm kicking on some very, very weak McDonald's coffee. This ain't no Starbucks, y'all. There's barely any kick to this thing at all. So anyway, sorry, trying to wake up for this. And why are we here? Why am I making a video today? Well, you probably already know this, but in case you've somehow been living under a rock, it is rumored, and I will label it as a rumor for now, even though I'm very confident that this is all actually true and real, but it is rumored, it's not confirmed, so we'll label it that Nintendo has not one, but two new models, revisions of the Nintendo Switch releasing this year. Now, this was first reported via the Wall Street Journal, citing sources both in part suppliers as well as software developers that have access to the prototype of this machine. This was also backed up via Eurogamer, citing their own sources, saying that they've heard the same. Two new models. I will also touch on this and just say I have, heard rumors as well. Those of you that follow me know that I first started talking about this months ago. And yeah, it seems that there was some confusion on what was actually going to release this year. There had been some rumblings that there was a handheld device. There had been some rumblings that there was a Pro console. Definitely some confusion that was rumbling around on what was actually going to release. It looks now like it's both, right? So interesting, going for a two-pronged strategy here. So let's dive into both these models first and what separates them apart, what makes them interesting for the market. So the first device number one, is rumored to be a handheld specific Switch, right? Getting rid of HD Rumble is one of the rumors, removing its ability to dock potentially, so this might not be able to connect to your TV. It may really be a handheld only Switch. Yeah, main purpose of this console entering the market is to bring the cost down, right? This will be a cheaper model. And model number two is rumored to be a more core-oriented device. Now, I myself am hesitant to call this a Pro. From what I have heard, it is not a massive jump, right? So it's not like going from a Xbox One S, let's say, to an Xbox One X, where there is a really huge jump in the processing power of those machines. They're a night and day difference. From what I've heard, and also from what Eurogamer is stating here, that is not so much the case. You are getting a boost. I expect games to run better on this machine than they do on the launch Switch. But yeah, this isn't like, hey, by the way, you're now playing Division 2 with Xbox One X graphics on your Switch. It's nothing crazy like that. So don't get too nuts there. But yeah, it should still be keeping its docking feature, and it's just basically a slightly upgraded Switch, rumored to have a better screen, things like that. I believe, now this isn't leaks, this isn't anything, this is just me speculating. I think that this more core-oriented device is replacing the standard Switch. That's what makes the most sense to me. I'm guessing the regular Switch is going to be discontinued. I guess it is possible that they have 3 different SKUs for the Switch on the market at the same time, but that seems unlikely to me. I think we're going to switch to the baseline Switch becoming this core-oriented device and the handheld supplementing that in the market. Now, well, why now, right? Why is it important to get these revisions out in 2019 specifically? Why is this year really the year that we need to see these consoles enter the market? Well, there's 2 really, really important reasons for that handheld to release, and those are Pokemon Sword and Shield and Animal Crossing, right? So those are both targeted for 2019, and these are your big, broad demo games, right? These are the games that hit wide. They cast a big net. So Nintendo is hitting that point where, I think they're starting to really hit that core Nintendo fan base, and they need a way to expand beyond that, right? We're entering the stage of the Switch's life cycle where if it wants to get up to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 million units sold, it needs to hit a much more wide demo than those core Nintendo fans. Not that there's not millions and millions of those core Nintendo fans. We've already seen them throw huge amounts of support behind the Switch. But yeah, to hit that mass appeal, you need games like Animal Crossing and a Pokemon game. Now, currently the Switch is sitting at $299 US, and that is your biggest barrier of entry to get these people in, right? So Pokemon, it's loved by everyone, everything from kids to adults, men, women, everybody, right? Everyone loves Pokemon. But if you want to get that Switch into 7-year-old Jimmy's hands, and you need that price to come down. It's hard sell for a parent with a 7-year-old to run out and buy their child a $300 portable system that they might chuck on the ground and shatter, right? That is a big barrier of entry, and that's the thing that is going to hold the Switch back the most. So that's exactly why you're seeing this handheld targeted device enter the market now. They need to bring that cost down, I think, to $199. Anything more than that, and you're almost wasting your time here. It needs to be $199. Even lower would be amazing, but I think that's very difficult to do, right? I think that's hard to get a Switch type system down below 200. Props to them if they can do it. It would be amazing. Sales would be crazy, but I don't forecast that. I think it's going to be $199. That's what it needs to be, and that will massively help adoption there with Pokemon, right? You're going to get multiple units per household now, which is a big thing Pokemon does as well. Billy and his sister both want their own Pokemon, and they want their own device to be able to play that Pokemon, and they don't want to share. So getting that price down, that gets that gets way more Switches into the younger market. And of course, the handheld will apply to adults as well. I'm not trying to say this is only for kids, but that is the biggest impact that it's going to have, right? Just like you're seeing the 2DS really extend the 3DS's life cycle, that's because so many parents, still to this day, honestly, buy 2DS's for their younger children. That very cheap entry model system. So that's really why this handheld exists. That's why Nintendo's trying to get that out by this summer. They want this out in time for Pokemon. And yeah, same thing with Animal Crossing. That's a game that appeals very heavily towards women, which is a demo that is increasing on the Switch. It's not as male heavy as it was right around launch, but that's still obviously a growth opportunity, right? So a game like Animal Crossing has that big appeal, and again, same. If someone's buying the Switch really to just play Animal Crossing and maybe one or two other games, they're not like many of us that are buying a game every month, or for some of us crazies every week. $300 is still a big ask. So yeah, that handheld really hits the casual market. Replacing and taking away the docking feature might seem kind of crazy, because the entire selling and marketing point of the Switch was the fact that it was this console that could be both, that could be a handheld and a home machine, and I admit that is kind of weird. I wonder how they're going to brand this, right? It would seem weird to call it a Switch that doesn't switch, but you still got to keep that name, right? Because it's become such a marketable name. So I'm very curious what they call this and how they market it so that people don't get confused, right? Because that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to sell this for $199 and have people buying it thinking that they can hook this up to their TV, because not all consumers are as well versed in this stuff as me and many of you watching this video are. So yeah, they're going to have to be very careful around the branding of it and very careful around the marketing of it to make sure people understand, hey, this is a handheld specific device. That way they just don't run into any problems there. In terms of the more core oriented system that's going to be hitting, Like I said, I think this replaces the main standard switch SKU. I don't see any reason to keep the standard switch on the market as well as this one. From what I understand, this is mostly being done because of changes in, how do I say this? I don't want to go too into detail here, but from what I understand, it's more to do with parts and supply and things like that, other than, hey, by the way, we just want to pump out a more powerful machine. From what I understand, it's more, this is mostly what's going to be available, so this is what we're doing. So yeah, I think this just replaces the standard switch. I don't expect it to have a massive impact in terms of a boost. It will definitely have a boost launch month with people upgrading from their older switches. But I don't think the upgraded console is a significant baseline lifter. You know, I think that's what the handheld's there for. This is the dedicated core console is just to keep, you know, people like me and you happy. Yeah, it's not there to grow the market. And yeah, that's the quick and dirty thoughts I have about those two. I think them more exciting if you care about the market, right? If you care about sales, if you care about business. I think the handheld is the way more exciting option of the two to talk about. It's just going to have a way bigger impact than that core device is going to have. This is crazy to me that there are still analysts out there that are saying they expect the Switch to be flat or down in 2019. I would love someone to explain that to me, especially with 2 revisions on the horizon and Pokemon and Super Mario Maker 2 and, you know, Zelda remakes and all this crazy stuff that's hitting in the second half of the year. Projecting this console to be flat or down seems wild to me, but we know it's not flat by any means in the first 2 months of the year. So granted, those aren't the busiest months, but yeah. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the 2 handhelds. Why they're entering the market. Why now is the time. 2019 specifically. This is the time. This is the time to get that handheld out there. Right in time for Mario Maker, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing. You know, I kind of left Mario Maker off the list whenever I was saying the 2 big reasons. Mario Maker's a big part of this too. It's that broad appeal game as well. I don't think quite as broad. You're saying, well, it's Mario, of course it's broad. I mean, in terms of selling that console, putting that console in someone's hands, I don't think Mario Maker 2 is as big of a hardware impact as Pokemon and Animal Crossing are. But again, that is still a very broad, very casual demo as well. So yeah, 2019 is the year. Get them out this summer. At the very least, the handheld model, get it out by this summer. And I'm curious to see, yeah, if they both hit at the same time. You know, there's still some stuff we don't know about this. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up, folks. I am Benji-Sales. Get at me at Twitter. Follow me on Twitter if you don't already, at Benji-Sales. Best way to talk to me. If you like this video, you know, hit the subscribe button. I know this channel is not as exciting as some of the other big headline stuff that you're going to see from other major, you know, big YouTubers. But here we talk about the market. We try to put everything that I talk about here more in a sales and how this will focus on impacting the industry light than just talking about, you know, general just gaming stuff, you know. So maybe this will give you something a little bit different than what a lot of YouTubers will give you. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.